Welcome to fabulous Las Vegas, and welcome to the World Bowling Women's Championships. We're at the South Point Bowling Plaza, not far from that famous Las Vegas Strip, and the hot lights. We'll find out your bronze, your silver, your gold medalists. Shannon O'Keefe, one of the finest players in the world, looking to add already to a glittering resume. But the competition here at the South Point Bowling Plaza has been difficult and close for days, and now it culminates in these next 2 days of medal winners. Hello again, everybody. I'm Dave Lamont, joined by Brad Hagan from Sam Houston State, and of course PWBA star and representing England, Verity Crawley. And Brad, the hot lights are on. A lot of bowlers can handle the situation, but I imagine the intensity for this event gets ramped up when you represent your own nation.
Yeah, anytime this happens, anyways, when you're representing your country, it's a great honor. The emotions are high. The scores are going to be probably high right behind them, but again, it's all about controlling your emotions and what you can do for you and your country, and you know who's behind you, and that's what's great.
And Verity, you know these players very well. You compete against them even now on the PWBA Tour. What are you expecting today, particularly in the singles that we're going to be showing?
A lot of fire, a lot of heart, and I just think some fierce competitors out on the lane that are going to give it their all.
Let's get you a little more familiar with world bowling, because 34 nations have been represented here in Las Vegas, almost 180 bowlers, and you'll get medals in singles, doubles, and trios, teams, all events, and masters. And just as important, you'll earn points towards the season WBT totals. What's on our show today? Well, we've already hinted that we've got singles competition for you. We're also going to have doubles and trios. And listen, that foursome right there that we're going to have, Brad, in the semifinals is fantastic. You've got major champions in here and some real talent.
Yeah, Dave, we got a lot of PWBA talent, and the match right out of the gate is going to set the tone for the day. This is going to be great.
Yeah, I've definitely bowled with some of the players, and they've bowled against one another as well, and it's just going to be a lot of competition. I think they're all very familiar with this pattern now since we bowled on it all week, and fresh is definitely going to be to their advantage as well.
And you can't help but notice when you get to the doubles and the trios, Colombia has been dominant during this week.
Yeah, Colombia's had a great week, and they're here to play, and this is what it's all about.
Right, they're coming off a very good performance at the Pan American Games as well, so that obviously fuels them a little bit more. They work together very well as a team, and they're really looking forward to it. Let's
take a look at our bracket and set you up for these two semifinals right off the bat. It'll be the number 3 seed, Shannon O'Keefe, against Sandra Anderson, who has a win on the PWBA Tour this year. And the other semifinal, number 4 seed, the reigning U.S. Women's Open champion, Danielle McEwen. But the top seed is Na Young Lee from Korea. And the two winners will meet for the final and the gold medal. That's what's at stake, and we're ready to bring you match number 1, Anderson versus O'Keefe, from the World Bowling Women's Championship at South Point Bowling Plaza in Las Vegas. We are about to begin with our first semifinal of the World Bowling Women's Championships here at South Point Bowling Plaza. And for that, we turn to the third member of our team, Dennis McCamry.
Welcome to the World Bowling Women's Championships, Las Vegas. We have our semifinal for the singles competition. Let's welcome out our players. Introducing from Sweden, Sandra Anderson. Followed by from USA, Shannon O'Keefe.
And there you have it. And I think, Verity, it's safe to say that Shannon handles the spotlight about as well as any bowler on any tour you can name. She seems to really embrace these situations.
Favorite thing.
You see the 6 qualifying game averages. That's why Na Young Lee is the number 1 seed. She is in the second match against Danielle McEwen. Right now it's number 2 versus number 3. Only a pin and a half difference between the two. But Sandra Anderson has been a winner this year on the PWBA Tour. So she should be able to handle the spotlight and the pressure as well. What are we bowling on here?
What we got is the 39-foot sole pattern. This pattern's got multiple angles that they can attack it from. So the show's going to be quite unique. There's a lot of options, and it's really going to be about who can establish the line and the shapes that they're looking for right from the beginning.
Anderson will lead off. Flush on lane 24.
Great start. Yeah, it was kind of unique because as they were warming up, they were definitely kind of fishing around and a little left, a little right, and then looks like Sandra definitely started a little straighter.
So O'Keefe on the left lane. Already 4 titles for the reigning PWBA Player of the Year. That one dove through the face just a bit, leaving the 3-6-10.
This is going to be another one of those things. It's are you going to be more comfortable playing a little in, a little more shape, which was an option this week in the fresh, but you really had to control the front part of the lane and control your ball speed. And Sandra's going to go, looks like a little straighter, so this could make the front part of the lanes a little tricky at the beginning.
One of the harder parts is you start to move left and the lane actually hooks a little bit more, so it's finding a way to stay right and control that part of the lane.
Went to the spare ball and managed to find that pocket between the 3-6 for Shannon. Anderson was the runner-up in the USBC Queens in 2016. She also has 1 title on the European Tour.
Yeah, she's had some summer success this year as well here stateside, so she's very familiar with the lights in this kind of situation.
A little bit farther right.
Yeah, that hung out and never came back into the pocket.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the things this week, as we saw, especially early on in the fresh. There's definitely going to be some hang, and if you don't keep the front angles kind of in front of you, then it's very easy to do something like that, where for the righties a 2-10 or a 2-4-10, 2-8-10.
And an immediate opening here for O'Keefe, and she can take advantage of it. Not surprising that she did.
Yeah, a lot cleaner. I think that was a lot better and definitely a little more firm with her speed than that first shot. And you know, sometimes there's some nerves in the beginning, but both of these are professionals and they're going to be just fine.
Now this is makeable. Not high percentage, of course, but makeable.
It's a good chance.
She went right at it instead. So an early lead for O'Keefe.
Yeah, worst case scenario, it's so important on a strike. You know, at least don't give up the pins, especially early on the match. Those 1 or 2 pins could come back and bite you in the end. You just never know.
Yeah, actually, Sandra's PWBA title that she won by 1 pin. So I think she knows how important pins are.
Yeah, absolutely. Better shot.
Quiet 10 pin though for her on 24.
You can definitely see how much further right she's getting the ball than Shannon is.
I think we saw all week as well. Some of the athletes that tried to use a little more surface, much more speed sensitive than normal, just given the flatness of this pattern and with sole. But it's definitely a pattern you can attack with many different angles, and you definitely have a lot of equipment options.
The old expression, hit him pin and watch him spin.
Yeah, I think that was important this week. When you create a little shape, especially down lane, I think every coach and player was trying to keep the pins low and increase some deflection, and that really increased some of the carry this week.
There on the 10 pin, you saw Sharon speaking with USA coach Rod Russ.
Unlike a lot of PWBA events this summer, we're only actually allowed 6 bowling balls to be registered at the World Championship. So that's a little different than these two are used to throughout the summer, where we could have as many balls as we want, apart from at the Women's US Open.
Did you end up using all of yours? Did you find you had to switch a lot?
I used all 6, and I ended up drilling a bowling ball and switching one out just so that I could match up a little bit better on the fresh, which I never really quite figured out.
for Anderson. A beautiful shot. There's some Swedish fans here waving the colors.
Yeah, traditionally the Swedish contingency travels really well, and they're very supportive. They're definitely one of the countries around that have great support, and their federation really stands behind them, which is awesome.
So O'Keefe will come back up on the right-hand lane. Working on a double. She asked for a re-rack on 24, so this is her option. Sometimes that's a psychological trick. Sometimes the pins just don't look right.
A lot of the times players will do it in the 10th frame just to give themselves a little bit of a reset so they can take a breather.
It's going to go.
A little far right from Shannon.
Yeah, a sleeper back there too, so 2-8 for O'Keefe.
And just a little wide early in the front part of the lane, and that was the thing with this pattern. It's quite flat in the front, which just means it's a little slicker, and you get a hair wide of target and a little firm with it. It's very easy to see the ball do exactly what it just did.
Her previous shots got to around 8 down line, and that was a little bit further right of that.
No trouble for O'Keefe to stay clean through 4.
Yeah, I think one of the key components for everybody this week was you really got to manage the emotions and manage the front half of the game with how they are and how people are attacking them. It's the spares and the makeables are key because you could throw a couple in there 2, 3, 4 in a row real easily. So it's all about just filling frames and staying in the moment, and that's really what this first match is all about.
Second semifinal will feature Lena Young and Danielle McEwen. And a stone 8-pin.
I definitely saw a lot of those this week, that and the 9-pin.
I believe just the South Point Plaza, especially on the sport patterns, it's so easy when you get a little high flush to get the ball to just not go through the pins the right way, even though it looks perfect. So I thought a lot of teams this week, when you created a little more angle down lane and kept the pins low, you really increased your carry.
I'm surprised to see a 7-pin there. She might be just as surprised as we are, if not more.
Can definitely tell she's not very happy with that one.
No, I don't know if she's unhappy with the result or her shot. Maybe both.
Maybe both. I think sometimes it's very important to look at the player's body language, and it sometimes gives away exactly what they're feeling.
I mean, the great part for both of these, they're very competitive, so their emotions are going to be a little stronger and a little more vocal.
That's where the mental game definitely comes into play, something that both athletes will have worked on.
Yeah, and both of these athletes and everybody today in this singles match, their mental games are where they need to be for an elite athlete.
Yeah, well, Richard Anderson, the coach there for Sweden, laughing with Sandra about that. It was just an awful break to get that stone 8. It's cruel.
Yeah, and that's really key for the coaches, too. I mean, you want your athletes to be present at all times and do their due diligence and have that competitive fire, but it's also the coach's job to kind of keep them present as well and not allow them to get away from their thought process and their mental due process.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, great shot here. The right side of the lane is going to be a little more forgiving, especially the more she hangs out there and create a little more room, so it's always best. It's really about just letting the ball do the work for you. Anytime you get a little controlled this week and on this pattern, it really sets yourself up for potentially something you don't want to shoot at.
Yeah, there was definitely enough friction to where you really have to just let the ball do the work and don't try and overpower it.
She is very fortunate. You mentioned body language, Verity. She stood up when she released that. That's
She knew
always
that one was
the
in.
universal sign in bowling. When somebody stands straight up after a shot, they don't like it. Watch her.
That's immediate.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, and anytime you can miss like that and you got it still a little hold in the middle lane and get 9 out of it, 9 spare, 8 spare is so key. So it's not going to hurt right now, but you got to fill the frame and move on and regroup.
O'Keefe, 15 years on Team USA. know, she's filling frames, not making any big mistakes. The difference in the match was an early mistake for Anderson, who left at 2-4-7 and converted 2 of those, so an open frame early on. And that's the difference.
Yeah, and I think the problem too right now is just where both athletes were warming up. They were a little more left, and right now you miss a hair left or you get a hair soft, which is very normal. This pattern, it's definitely going to read early, and
I think it's very important to find that push.
Yeah, you got to have a little bit of hold, but this pattern is very speed sensitive.
She liked it. Came around the corner.
Yeah, we saw that a lot. Those kind of keep them low and let them spin. As you said, those light mixers really mostly this week carried quite often.
You can hear the Swedish fans already starting to get excited.
Yeah, if Sandra starts stringing, that's very much the Swedish clientele. They're very much behind them, and they are not afraid to voice their excitement.
No, she's riding a double, so O'Keefe now trails by a couple.
It's a better shot.
Having a little trouble diving through the face on that lane, and she's looking at a 4th straight frame without a strike.
Yeah, I just think right now with the ball she's using, it's definitely reading the front part of the lane a little early. So, I mean, you miss a board or 2 left and get a hair soft with it or help it a little, it's definitely going to check on her. That's the key, is take advantage of your misses, though. I mean, if you're going to make mistakes and 8-9 spare it, it's what you got to do. And Shannon's one of the best spare shooters probably in the world, hands down. So at least keeps her in the match. But she knows, and everybody else knows, this pattern's been very scoreable. So trying to put together a double here.
That's why making make balls is key, because you never know when you would have an opening like that. So right now, Shannon's probably quite happy.
Well, Shannon again has stayed away from trouble with 3 frames to go. And for the second time, she would get up on the right lane, knowing to her left is big trouble for her opponent.
Yeah, and you're going to see her step up here. She's all about taking back some momentum, and she knows what to do. She
struck the last time Anderson left a split. Came in.
Wow.
Count the number of different leaves that got broken up that time. And a huge strike for O'Keefe to give her a little bit of control back in this match.
Give her a little bit more confidence as well.
Yeah, she allowed this to get a little wide, but still the swishers, and again, you keep the pins low here and in the plaza, they tend to bounce around, and that's so key.
Oh, man, she went for that and almost was able to clip that off the back. But a second open frame here for Anderson. And her max now goes to 203.
So easy how things change around. Shannon was up now. You know, it switches.
Yeah, O'Keefe's max 235.
Yeah, I think all week, this is why managing the lane is so important, managing the pocket, especially when your opponent makes a mistake. You gotta not give up that pocket and give yourself a chance at getting those swishers and breaking up something funny. It's very easy to do here in the plaza.
She liked that one.
Yeah, she was walking that one off almost the second she let it go. She desperately needed that to keep alive that 203 max and make Shannon do a little work.
Yeah, after making the mistake she did, and she definitely got a little more firm with that one and was a little straighter in the front part of the lane. And you know, this is the time of the game. You got to stay aggressive. You have to. It's a better shot on that one.
Oh, flush for O'Keefe.
Much better.
Wow. Back to back, her first double since the second and third frames.
Yeah, that was a lot of cleaner off her hand, a lot more even ball motion anyways, and that's really what we're looking for and what the athletes are looking for right now with where she's playing on the lane is a much even shape front to back, just a nice arcing ball.
You all are better at this math than I am, but I think one more strike for Shannon O'Keefe would just about do it, regardless of what Anderson does.
Yeah, Mark will seal it. Oh, that's hope.
Hurry.
Oh.
Messenger just slid in front of the 10.
Yeah, it's going to be it now.
Yep.
Yeah,
She knows it.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate it has to end that way. But again, this whole week was about staying out of trouble, being patient, filling frames, and an 8 and 9 spare most of the time will not hurt you. Just knowing with this pattern, you can throw in a double and triple real quick.
I think being patient is really key. You know, Shannon could have got very frustrated at the beginning when she wasn't striking, but she stuck with it, and came in her favor in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of Shannon's biggest strengths, and everybody is aware of this. Her mental toughness is among the best in the world.
It really is. I mean, there's weeks on the PWBA tour where you don't see her at the top, and then all of a sudden she's making the TV show. She just steadily pushes along and grinds it out, and then
it'd be safe to say she's by far the last 2-3 seasons one of the most successful, if not.
Oh, definitely. I mean, she was Player of the Year last year, and right now she's leading points to be Player of the Year as well this year.
Yeah, there's a reason why she's got 3 titles in a major this summer. And the mental toughness is so much a major component of our sport. And I think on the international level, they do it. Everybody does it super well, and it's so important for the game.
I think sometimes it becomes more important than your physical game, for sure.
Yeah, and what a lot of people, I think, don't understand is how much the mental affects the physical.
Right.
So Shannon O'Keefe will advance. Will it be an All-American final? Will her and Danielle McEwen, or will Korea's Lee Na-young make it into the championship match? She is the #1 seed, McEwen the #4 seed. But O'Keefe wants to tidy things up here. And she is on to the finals, and a chance at a gold medal for Shannon, and will be a bronze medal for Sandra Anderson of Sweden. And there is Danielle jumping into the screen there for a hug, and a big sigh of relief from Shannon O'Keefe, knowing that she has gotten through.
I'm sure she's talking about her game plan, what she's going to do. Obviously, she'll have another match on the lanes before she gets to bowl, so she'll see a little bit more transition, which there's a likelihood she won't be throwing the same ball that she was just throwing.
Yeah, and that's so important. If everybody watching in the 10th frame in the fill ball, which was the second ball after she made the spare anyways, was she did try a different ball, and that's so important for athletes and players across the country. And don't be afraid to try something in the fill frame, as we would say. It's almost a free ball, but it's about getting information. And anytime a coach or an athlete at a high level, or even at your local league, if you can get information, right, wrong, or indifferent, it's going to help you short-term and long run, and that's so important at an event like this.
We are going to step aside as you see O'Keefe and McEwen exchanging some intelligence. They may be foes in another match, but right now they are still teammates. It will be McEwen against the top seed, Lee Na-young, when we return.
Bowling is a sport that we all love to enjoy every week, and especially on the weekends. But when it comes to tournament play, the structure is entirely different. And here to help explain the rules and regulations of tournament play is tournament director and president of Pan American Bowling, Martin Fabla. How are you doing, Martin?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much. Well, in order to the people to know a little bit better what is this competition, there is a structure for every championship. We have different of them. We have a World Women's Championship, a Men's Championship, all-together championship, and single championship. But the rules for this event, or the events we have during the championship, are singles, doubles, trios, team event, and masters, which is composed by the top 24 players during the whole championship. The top 24 will play. All the competitors from every country, we have 34 countries here, will compete against each other. Even the same teams, competitors, let's say a team like USA will have 6 players, and each of them is competing against the other in singles event.
Wait, Martin, I'm sorry. You said all 34 countries are present today in the women's championships?
Yes, we have 34 countries, and not all of them are with full teams. Some of them, like Bahamas, came with 4 players. Spain and Poland came with just 2 players, and so on. But we have 27 full 6-member countries. And
does that make your job a lot harder or easier when you have all of these countries present, such as in today's event?
Well, we have from time to time bigger events than these ones. As an example, next week we are going to have a World Senior Championship here, and we are going to have almost double of the athletes or players on that competition. And well, you get used to this. You have to prepare a lane draw where you will assign the lane where everybody will start on the first day of each of the events from the championship. And well, it takes some time to prepare this, but you get used to do this from other championships that you had the experience to be on. So it's not that difficult.
If I'm watching this at home, which one is more exciting? Would you say the singles, doubles, or trios?
Well, for me, that's from my point of view, team event is very interesting because, you know, it requires a full team to be doing it well, player by player. The first player has to do a great shot, then the other one, and if someone does not it good, so the other members of the team will not feel well, but they even push for these people to do it better the next shot. But for me, teams competition is the greatest.
Right, so if they are bowling on a team, they can have each other's back and pick up the slack and still carry on the team to possibly win the gold in today's event. So we're going to get back to all the action right here at South Point in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is the Women's Championships.
So we are about ready for our second semifinal. The winner will take on Shannon O'Keefe. It will be Na-Young Lee and Danielle McEwen. Let's meet these players now, and I think he's caught his breath. Here's Dennis McCamry.
Welcome to the World Bowling Women's Championships, Las Vegas. We have our semifinal for the singles competition. Let's welcome out our players. Introducing from Korea, Na-Young Lee. Followed by from United States, Danielle McEwen.
So there are the players, the number 1 and number 4 seeds. And by the way, Dennis, would you please return my workout shirt? Let him borrow that for that piece there that he did with the Swedish team. We already know that Sandra Anderson has won a bronze medal. The loser of this match will be the other bronze medalist, and the 2 winners will go for the gold in the next match. And they are bowling in fresh conditions. The lanes were run during that period where you were watching Dennis. So they're back on the fresh. And one more revisit, Brad and Verity, to our World Bowling Women's Championship oil pattern.
Yeah, well, what the ladies are bowling on and have been all week is the 39-foot pattern sole. It's a WTBA pattern. Very, very little reverse, quite a bit of forward oil. So definitely gives you an option to go left to right, and you definitely got to be careful front to back just because of your speed.
So here is Na-Young Lee, the number 1 seed. 5 years for the national team. Some of the finest, particularly women bowlers on the planet now coming from that continent, from Asia. Some dominating players.
They definitely have a lot of events out there.
Solid start on the right lane for the number 1 seed.
Yeah, great opening shot. It's so important to establish that momentum and manage the pocket, especially because the pattern hasn't sat for a long time. So really need to be patient and manage your speed in the front half of this game.
And look at Danielle McEwen, the current U.S. Women's Open champion, 5-time titleist, 2 majors on her resume already. No trouble, kicks aside the 10-pin for McEwen.
Great start for both athletes. It's going to be the key. Establish the momentum, manage the pocket, and try to put a little pressure on your opponent from the beginning.
8 years member of Team USA, and I'm sure she'll be many more.
Oh yeah, Danielle's been a staple for Team USA for quite some time, and she's not going anywhere. And she's used to the limelight in these big stages, especially in the international world.
She actually won in Thailand last year, the World Bowling Tour Open.
Yeah, Danielle travels a lot for her sponsorships and definitely for Team USA as well. So she's got a lot of international experience.
Wow, that looked to me like an outstanding shot that time, but it will be a 10-pin here for Lee.
Yeah, just a little direct here, a little more direct than her last shot. Ball goes a little long, doesn't quite see the lane the right way, which just means the ball deflects a little more, as saw in that shot. Kind of deflects to the right toward the 9-pin, and 6-pin just kind of lays flat in the gutter.
You can see she actually didn't post it, so I think she wasn't too happy with the shot either.
Ooh, late turn into the pocket and 10 straight back for McEwen.
Danielle getting the ball a little bit more left to right.
You can see right in that 11-12 area, about 7-8 down lane, hard left turn.
Look, it just clipped it.
Looked a little iffy off her hand.
It did.
Yeah, even the Koreans especially, I mean, they're so good at managing lane and making quality shots. I don't suspect seeing a lot of opens in this match at all. They're definitely going to put pressure on each other and fill frames.
17th installment of the World Bowling Women's Championships, the first one in Mexico City in 1963. 2015, they were in Abu Dhabi.
A little more shape on that one.
By that time, a wraparound on that 10-pin.
Yeah, that was a much better shot. She definitely liked that a lot better than the last shot, and definitely stuck the landing a lot better as well. Looking for that solid base at the foul line, follow through. Gets through it clean, just
Ball still just deflects a little bit too much.
it's getting to the pins and bouncing a little to the right, and anytime that happens, and definitely could create some issues between the flat 10 and the ring 10.
Meantime, McEwen is perfect through 3.
Yeah, Danielle's another one. She gets going, she's hard to beat, and she's definitely come out here with some fire.
Yeah, she's had a great year winning the Women's US Open.
Yeah, it's one thing to get that one major, but to back it up a few years later with another one, and such a prestigious one as the US Open, I can't imagine that you can shake her confidence very easily.
She's so consistent week in and week out. The women's tour, she's proven that week in and week out anyways.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's grueling. It's a lot of games in 2 days, and it's mentally hard on you. It's physically hard on you. And Danielle, she's an athlete, you know. She works out, she trains a lot, and it definitely shows. You know, she works on her mental game, and you can see that throughout her performance.
And you mentioned, Brad, her traveling. She is very involved in world bowling.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, I think next to Liz Johnson, she's probably the most traveling female in the world right now.
Flush. Gorgeous shot there from now young Lee, who is was a gold medalist in 6-man in the 2018 Asian Games, and 3rd place in the Asian Games Masters.
Yeah, and she's another one that's, you know, very familiar with the big stages, representing country with great honor, and just doing big things and doing well for Korea over the years.
They definitely have a lot of TV shows over there too, so I'm sure she's very familiar with this kind of situation.
And for Danielle, the front 4.
Yeah, I think this is so important for Danielle too. Communication's key with the teammates and her coaches, and prior to the break, I think she got some good insightfulness and got some good information, and they're running with that right now, and I think it's paying off for her.
Yeah, even though her and Shannon are technically bowling against each other right now, or they will be, if Danielle wins, obviously Shannon wants to give her as much information as possible, so I'm sure they had a little chat in the break.
How are the two of them playing it differently, Verity, if at all?
Shannon, well, Danielle's actually a little bit further left than Shannon was, covering a little bit more lane. Shannon was a little bit straighter. using a ball that was a little bit earlier, which is why at the beginning she had a little bit of trouble getting to the pocket.
Yeah, ball speed wide as well. Shannon's a little more firm, definitely likes to do what she does, and then Danielle loves when she can shape it a little. She's really, really good at going straight. She's really, really good with a soft touch as well, and I think that's what she's utilizing right now.
Right, because of Shannon's faster speed, that's what allowed her to be that little bit further right than Danielle is.
This one comes in a little sharp, leaving the 4-pin.
So Danielle up quickly on the left lane, looking for 5 straight.
Needs some help.
And got help.
Got it.
Kick save and a beauty on the 10-pin.
Little inside of target there for her, not quite as much shape, but definitely got the help, got the 6 to slap out the 10, and that's anytime you can do that, it's going to be a good day in the office. See that down by that tracer, gets it in a little closer in 9-10 area.
Yeah, having the tracers on the lane definitely really help, especially whilst you're bowling. It makes it a little bit easier to kind of see where your ball is getting to. A lot of people call them almost cheat boards just because it really is a help.
Yeah. For the viewers, that far tracer down lane, the darker board there, it's in that 40 to 43 foot range, and all the athletes are looking for the ball to just kind of roll right around that and right to the pocket.
So Lee hasn't done a single thing wrong. She just hasn't struck enough.
But as we saw in the match earlier, you know, there's plenty of frames left, and sometimes it might come down right until the end. Even though Danielle has front 5 right now, everything could change.
Yeah, patience is going to be key, and as I said, these ladies are going to keep filling frames.
4-9? Nope. Just the 9-pin remains. Thought that 4 might collapse into the 9, so another single pin for Na Young Lee to shoot at.
Yeah, this is a good time for her to kind of weigh out her decisions. She's either got to firm up a little bit of her speed or cheat a little left and kind of get where Danielle is. But you know, the both athletes are in a similar area, so she needs to start thinking about what she wants to do.
Another great shot from Danielle. She's definitely confident right now. She's very happy with the look that she has. So. Na Young's definitely looking for a strike here. Obviously, Danielle's now at front 6, so she really has to start striking in order to have any chance of winning this match.
Yeah, this is a good time for her to, again, make a little move, be a little more aggressive with her ball speed, still stick to her A game, but definitely needs to put a little pressure on here and hopefully get 10 to go back.
Just cannot buy a break right now, and that's major trouble for her, particularly as sharp as McEwen is.
And again, you look at her body language, she definitely wasn't happy with that one.
Yeah, I don't think she's happy with anything at the moment, especially with her ball reaction. Warming up, she had a very good reaction, very good look. I just think she needs to get a little more left or a little more firm with her speed right now, and she'll be just fine.
In the meantime, McEwen just marching right down Las Vegas Boulevard.
Yeah, Danielle has great ball reaction right now.
Yeah, she can laugh because everything's going her way.
No, absolutely. Ball's making the right motion for Danielle, and that's so key right now, especially with the lane playing how it is. And I think that's a big thing right now for Na Young. She's got to go a little more left or be a little more aggressive with her speed, or unfortunately, she's going to keep putting herself in situations she doesn't want to be in.
And Lee sees the score. It's a big scoreboard above the lane, so she understands the predicament she is in. And McEwen is getting very close to locking her out.
Yeah, 214 max right now for Na Young, so this is super important.
But again, she's going through the face, and that's the same split she left on the previous shot.
It almost looks like she cheated a little to the right instead of going left, that or she might just kind of missed it out, but...
Yeah, the hard part about this pattern, though, is it's flat in the middle, so you start to move left and it almost hooks a little bit more. So you have to jump even further left and create a little bit more angle.
Yeah, the real small moves all week on this pattern weren't very productive, so you had to be definitely creative with how much you moved.
Not enough to get an 8 in a row for Danielle McEwen, but it's looking more and more like we will have an all-USA final, McEwen versus O'Keefe. As a matter of fact, this match is over, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, 193 max for Na Young.
And McEwen is already well above that. So Danielle and Shannon O'Keefe will be in the gold medal match. So the number 1 seed has been defeated. And the 2 Americans, friendly rivals on the PWP. Will be going at it one more time. Not like these two have never met before. They've met a lot.
Yeah, very familiar with each other. Many, many, many years on Team USA together. It's going to be an exciting gold medal match between Danielle and Shannon, for sure.
Also on our programs today, doubles finals and trios finals. And that's not a problem for Danielle. At this point, Verity, when you're this comfortable, do you start experimenting a little bit?
I think it really depends on how Danielle feels. I mean, there's no reason why she can't try something else, or she just kind of keeps going. Maybe start moving left a little bit just to see what's out there, or maybe it is a ball change just to see if she could have anything better for the next match. Whatever really makes her comfortable is what she's going to do right now.
Yeah, I think she's seeing the motion she wants to see. Coach Ross is happy with what he's seeing based on the information they got from the first match. I wouldn't be surprised to see a different ball in the 10th frame, just because, again, anytime you can get more information, it never hurts.
And for Lee, obvious disappointment. A little bit of an anticlimactic ending for her. She will medal, however.
Yeah, at the end of the day, anytime you can walk away the medal, I mean, we all want the gold, but unfortunately, a medal is great to take home. That's at the end of the day, that's what they're coming here for. Anything they can take back, represent their country at a high magnitude and at a high level, and at this kind of elite level is amazing. We have 180 athletes, 34 countries. This is an amazing event at the end of the day.
So many people that would just dream of representing their countries.
Yeah, you can't have much of a better honor. That's what a lot of athletes and even coaches dream of, having that opportunity to wear your country on your back. It's pretty special.
Lee finishing at a possible 183. McEwen going to put up a big number here. And that's the shot she wasn't getting. She had just too many going right through the nose.
Yeah, unfortunately, a little too late. It looked like in the 9th frame she definitely moved significantly left for at least 3 or 4 boards, which probably where she should have been a little earlier, but needless to say, managed in the pocket the last few frames and definitely probably saw more so what she wanted. There's the ball change. Just take a look at something.
Not sure what she may have learned from that. There was an unusual looking strike, to say the least, but for Danielle McEwen, an absolutely dominant effort. The front seven for McEwen, and moving on, defeating Na Young Lee rather comfortably, 256 to 173. So the championship match will be Team USA, those two right there, Shannon O'Keefe and Danielle McEwen. And you know what? They'll hug when the match is over, but not during. Smiles now to come back, because those two will have serious faces going as they talk about their final. One of those two will be your gold medalist here in Las Vegas at the World Bowling Women's Championships.
Welcome back to our coverage of the 2019 World Bowling Women's Championships. So what's in your bowling bag? Seems like a simple question, right? But for the viewers watching at home, it may surprise you just how much these athletes bring with them to ensure they perform at their best for each and every event they compete in. Earlier this week, I was able to catch up with one competitor and find out what's in her bag.
Hi, my name is Daria Pająk and I bowl for Team Poland, and I'm here to show you what's in my kit bag. First one is my towel. I use it to wipe off the oil from the bowling ball, just so to make sure I have a maximum control when I throw a ball. Then here are my bowling shoes. I picked purple myself. I have all the different accessories for my shoes, so if I have too much slide or too little, I can always change the heel or the sole. Also in the same bag, I carry all the different Abralon pads, and they are used to change the surface on the ball. So if I need a ball to hook a little bit more or a little bit less, this is how I adjust the surfaces on the ball. Then to move on, this is like my most important kit bag. Here are all my sponsors, some notes, this is some stickers I got from my fans. Okay, so here we go. This is all the accessories I need in order to perform. Those are tapes that I use to put in my thumb, so if my thumb gets bigger, I can take a tape out of the thumb. So when my thumb swells up, I can always take the tape out, and if it gets smaller, I can put a tape in, and that happens all the time. For every single ball, I want to make sure that I have the same fit. So this is a custom thumb mold that I would put to every single ball I use to make sure that in every ball, even if I close my eyes, they feel exactly the same. Because I don't have a perfect eyesight, I have my glasses here. Kinetic tape, just to prevent some injury. I tend to put it on my elbow, on my hand. Hand warmers, it tends to be really, really cold in the bowling center. Headphones, another essential for me. And this is my cosmetic bag because I travel, and this is not just my bowling backpack, this is my backpack I take with me everywhere. And this is what I have in my bowling bag.
We would like to give a special thanks to Daria for letting us take a look inside of her bowling bag. Amazing how many accessories these bowlers keep with them so they can make all the small adjustments along the way and compete at their very best. We'll be back with more coverage of the 2019 World Bowling Women's Championships right after this break.
So two stars from the BWBA Tour, Shannon O'Keefe and Danielle McEwen, are your finalists. They'll be going for the gold medal after O'Keefe defeated Sandra Anderson, and Danielle McEwen hit the front seven and overwhelmed Na Young Lee 256 to 173. With Brad Hagan and Verity Crawley, I'm Dave Lamont here at South Point Bowling Plaza in Las Vegas at the World Bowling Women's Championships. Take a look at some of the highlights of these two. And Shannon, you can see the problem her opponent had earlier. She knows how to take advantage of your problems.
Yeah, that's one thing Shannon's really, really good at, is utilizing that. She's really good at taking care of the momentum and bringing it back to her.
In the case, Verity of Danielle, she just never gave Lee a chance.
She didn't. She kept striking and just ran with it, really. And Lee never really had anything either. She was never able to string any strikes together, so she didn't really have that chance to jump on Danielle.
And two extremely experienced international players who've traveled the world either for themselves or for Team USA, now about to go one-on-one for the World Bowling Women's Championship and the gold medal.
Both have won on the PWBA Tour this summer as well, with Shannon winning 4 events actually.
And both have a major under their belt.
So they've both been having a very successful summer so far.
That's Paloma, the pin, and we were just watching an Instagram video.
Yeah, if you head to World Bowling's Instagram, you can find out all about Paloma the Pin's travels that she's been having around Vegas. She just had a little spa day ready to make it to the TV show, so you should definitely go and check out the Instagram page.
And that's our schedule coming up. We have doubles with Korea and Colombia, and then Colombia with another team taking on Sweden, and then the trios, Mexico versus the United States, and again Colombia versus Korea. Our players are ready to be brought in, and to handle that, let's turn it back over to Dennis.
Welcome to the World Bowling Women's Championships, Las Vegas. This is our first final for the singles competition. Let's welcome out our players. Introducing from United States, Shannon O'Kee. Followed by from United States, Danielle McEwen.
Notice the smiles as they come down the stairs, and as soon as they get within a few feet of the lanes, smiles are gone. Yes, they're friends. Yes, they're on the same team. But at the moment, it's Shannon versus Danielle. A scene played out many times in recent years on the PWBA Tour. Mark Baker is also there, along with Rod Russ, Team USA coaches. What are you two expecting here? Brad, I'll start with you.
Yeah, as soon as your feet hit those lanes, that's when that light switch goes off. The one thing you're going to see very much so out of these two is their competitiveness. They both want this gold medal. Yes, they're both representing Team USA, but their competitiveness is going to be very, very much so a part of this match.
I think it's going to come down to the last frame. That would be my prediction. The 9th and 10th frame is probably what it's going to come down to. Obviously, they're friends, but right now both of them want to win, and you're going to see that on the lanes. You're going to see some fire.
Both of them own 2 major championships. And this is not a repeat from the second semifinal. She just struck again.
Yeah,
she is using the same bowling ball, and they did re-oil, so they are bowling on fresh again. Obviously, Shannon bowled on fresh earlier. Danielle bowled on fresh. Shannon is actually starting with a different ball that she started with in her earlier match.
Yeah, great opening shot by Danielle, and definitely going to expect the same from Shannon here, but they're both going to be pretty aggressive and manage the lane quite well.
And that 4-9, we've seen that combination get tripped 3 times, but the 9 never gets taken out, so it'll be a spare opportunity here for O'Keefe.
And Shannon's using a little something, a little bit of rolling, comes in a little hot and heavy, and unfortunately goes right by the 9 pin and leaves what it does. But yeah, very much so. See the 4-9 trip quite often this week and throughout matches.
And of course, at this level, you often have a second bowling ball, a spare ball. And it's pretty straightforward to go after shots like this.
Yeah, the other bowling balls that the players will have in their arsenals are a little different. They can actually register 6 bowling balls to this event. One of them will be a spare ball, so then they'll have 5 other bowling balls that they can use. They're known as reactive bowling balls, and you have a different ball that is going to react a different way on different lane conditions.
I don't think she's going to be changing anytime soon. She did experiment at the end of that last game, but she had room to experiment. And right now she went back to what, as you mentioned, Verity, worked so well in that second semifinal.
Right, I'm sure in her mind right now she knows that her first semifinal she had, a lot of strikes in a row at the beginning. So in her mind she's probably thinking that's what she wanted to do again in this match. Whereas Shannon didn't have a great start in her first match. So
went wide, but managed to send them all down.
Yeah, those light swishers were so important this week, and again, I believe if creating a little more shape down lane and managing the pocket, you keep the pins low. They bounce around here in the arena, which was very key for a lot of athletes. Those high flush ones, as we saw on Shannon's first shot, very hard to carry here, especially given this 39-foot sole pattern and a lot of buildup of the oil in the front, which just means it's super slick, so it's really hard to get the ball through the front part of the lane and still create the shape that you want to down lane.
Yes, trip on the 7-pin that time for McEwen, who opens with 3 in a row.
Definitely a good start, and I'm sure she's, a little happy with that. And
she's making a difficult game look easy right now.
Definitely comes in high again, high flush. Tough to carry, but when you got the right ball in your hand with the right speed, life's pretty good for you.
Likelihood is she'll probably make a little move left the next time on that lane, since she would just went high.
That one didn't come back. She'd been getting away with some of that occasionally and kissing the headpin into traffic, but not this time.
It looks like she got a little inside out of target, just missing inside, and then the ball naturally wants to roll out with what she's throwing. Looks like a pin down.
So how would you make this?
You're going to see Shannon kind of come left to right, knock the one pin over, try to take the old pool route in this one.
Goes wide, missed the head pin completely, so an open frame for O'Keefe and an opportunity here for Danielle McEwen to jump in with both feet.
Anytime you have the 6-pin in there, you got a couple different angles. You can hit it from the 1-2 side and kind of kick the head pin over to the right, or you can bounce it off the right side of the head pin, which is that lead head pin closest to the bowlers, and try to bounce the ball over into the 6-10. There's a couple different angles to approach it, but that 6-pin makes it a little difficult, more so than normal.
Good shot, definitely taking advantage of that open from Shannon.
This is exactly how her semifinal started. She posted the front 7 and defeating Lee, and she's put McEwen in, O'Keefe into a terrible spot here. Champion, it comes right back.
Much better shot. That ball definitely didn't get as far right down lane as her shot on lane 24.
It definitely wasn't anything to overthink. She just didn't throw the last one very well, and this one she just had to step back up and get it clean off her hand and get it to the right spot. Definitely looking in that 11-12 area and rolling her out around that far tracer down lane.
Yeah, if you really start to watch where her ball is around that back tracer, it kind of gives you an idea of what we're talking about in terms of missing right, missing left.
Same here with Danielle, that far tracer. Going to work her right around it, just like that.
That's got to go, and it does. Right now, everything going away of a multiple gold medalist at the Worlds in 2017, reigning U.S. Open champion.
So if you have a look, you can see the tracer there, and then that yellow line just to the right of the tracer. Danielle taking a deep breath there.
Messenger's going to drop O'Keefe with a ringing 10-pin there. Well, I think for Danielle, she probably has to kind of control the heart rate. She has to be pumped up. 5 in a row. She's inching closer to a gold medal, but yet she also realizes she's against a champion and there's half a match left to go.
Definitely. I mean, it's easy to get in your head that she's already won because she's got the front 5, but at the same time she has to sit back and realize that there's still 5 frames left and it's really not over until that last ball has been thrown.
Yeah, there's a lot of pins still out there, and the great thing about both these ladies, they know exactly what they're capable of, and one simple mistake could cost you, and all of a sudden within 2 frames in a double, you're right back in it. It's back to being an even match. Best thing right now for both players, especially Danielle, keep hitting the pocket. That is so much the key, especially when you have the lead. Manage the lane, hit the pocket, get it to that 1-3, and cover up whatever if anything's left behind.
We'll mention to you, by the way, that we are going to be showing the medal ceremony. Well, that could have easily been 6 in a row for McEwen.
Great shot. High ring in 10. See the 6-pin go high around the 10. Right in there. This is going to be a good point where, especially with Shannon, where she's playing, Danielle, after that, probably going to want to cheat a little, at least 2 boards. Parallel moves, especially on this pattern, it was so tough.
You could see a little contact was made on that 10-pin as the head pin went around, but not enough to take it out. So O'Keefe desperately needs strikes. He's going to be fine through 6. And has built up a giant lead.
Yeah, and Shannon knows it. She knows she needs to strike, which is why it's even more frustrating, and she has to keep that level head when she doesn't strike.
Continuing to make very high quality shots. Right now, a little bit with speed adjustment. I think she's got the right ball in her hand. She's got a good shape to it.
Yeah, I always think about it. If you're executing your shots, there's really not much more that you can do. You know, if you've executed your shots, then you've got to walk away happy.
It's the exciting part of our game. We're literally playing against an invisible playing field with the oil out there, and then the topography. We got ridges and slopes and everything else out on the lane, and that makes things quite interesting and demanding sometimes, especially when we're making good shots.
That's going to be, there's the 4-9 gets tripped. She had to hold her breath a little bit as that started to nosedive toward the pocket.
Yeah, it was in all the way off her hand. She didn't like it. The ball she's using is allowing it not to use a whole lot of energy. It's not real hard off the spot, which means it's not going to make a hard turn down lane, but definitely got away with it. I think one of the reasons she's using the ball she is just the forgiveness it has and exactly why she did what she did. Light mixer there. Almost gets the 2-8 to go. Obviously frustrated, but again, making good shots and getting it to the pocket's half the battle.
The problem is she had that early split, or the washout rather, did not convert it and has been paying that penalty ever since, and McEwen has been nearly flawless.
Danielle's got great ball reactions. She's got a ball in her hand that allows her to miss a little in and get away with it. She's got a ball that she's allowed to miss out a little bit of target, and it's still rolling up to the pocket, keeping the pins low.
O'Keefe's max right now is at 214. Danielle could drop a 279 here. She won't, as she goes to the nose that time for the 3-6-10.
The ball definitely didn't get as far right on that shot as some of her previous shots.
One little reminder for form there one more time as O'Keefe steps up on the left-hand lane.
And she has changed ball. She is now using the ball that she started the match with in her previous match.
She defeated Sandra Anderson. And it works.
Much better ball reaction.
But was it too late? So McEwen here, this is never anybody's favorite spare to shoot.
Might be my least favorite.
But when you're on, you're on.
Yeah, Danielle's another great spare shooter. She's not going to give up a lot of pins, and making mistakes late in the game is very rare for her. Waiting to the right side of the 3-pin. Allow the ball to deflect into the 6-10. Textbook spare. Strike here and good count, and it's pretty close to being over, unfortunately.
There's your
Great
strike.
shot from
Yeah.
Danielle.
That might have been her most powerful strike in this game.
It was a great shot.
She pretty much just has to show up in the 10th, right? She needs just 6.
Keep it on the lane,
Yeah.
basically. Keep it on the lane.
Well, it looks like she did find the right equipment, and it may be why she's smiling a little bit like, now I figured this out, and this might be too late.
I think it's so important, especially at this level. You still want to give it your all the way to the end and finish throwing quality shots. There's nothing to hang your head out or head down about a silver medal. I mean, it's great that Team USA is bringing home the gold and silver, but you want to end on a high note, even though you're going to be proud for what you've done.
Well, Danielle McEwen is about to be a gold medalist.
Another good shot. She has been dialed in from the beginning.
Well, she will be at the top.
More than enough.
Yeah, her last 2 shots have been absolutely gorgeous. And for Shannon O'Keefe, bronze in the all events. She's going to end up with a silver in singles. And again, you will see that medal ceremony in a few minutes. What's that noise again? Oh, that must be Danielle striking again.
And shoots a 256 her first game, the winner match, and comes right back, shoots another 250 game. Strike here, 259. Yeah, 250 on the TV show average is nothing to shake a stick at. I think you got some pretty good ball reaction at that point.
Not a whole lot of bowlers will get on television and bowl for a title, or in this case, a medal, an average 250.
No, that's great ball reaction. That's great confidence. That's something we all dream of doing. Great shot by Shannon.
There it is. Danielle McEwen and Shannon O'Keefe, your gold and silver medalists respectively here at the World Bowling Women's Championships.
.259 and a gold medal for Team USA.
What a dominant performance by McEwen. 256 and 259. A 5-15 set for 2 games. Absolutely spectacular.
Amazing bowling on TV.
You know, you can't ever say anybody gave it to her. She just took it.
She made quality shots, and that's all you can do in that moment.
So another honor for Danielle McEwen. The U.S. Women's Open champion is now the gold medalist at the World Bowling Women's Championship. And we will watch that medal presentation for our 2 bronze medalists, our silver medalist, and the gold medalist. There she is, Danielle McEwen, when we return to Las Vegas. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the medal ceremony of the 2019 World Bowling Women's Championship Singles. The medals to be presented by Kevin Dornberger, the CEO of World Bowling. In third place and winner of the bronze medals, from Sweden, Sandra Andersson. And from Korea, Nayoung Lee. In second place and winner of the silver medal from the United States, Shannon O'Keefe. And your champion, the winner of the gold medal and your 2019 World Bowling Women's Singles Champion from the United States, Danielle McEwen. Ladies and gentlemen, will you all now please rise for the national anthem of the United States? Ladies and gentlemen, your World Women's Championship singles medalists. And in addition to the medals, and you can see genuine emotion from all of the competitors, all of the medalists. They also received a plush of a bighorn sheep. That's the state animal of Nevada. And big smiles. We're hoping to catch a word with Danielle when she breaks away from the group. It's a moment any athlete would covet, regardless of the sport, to have a chance to win, not just for yourself, but while representing your nation. And Danielle McEwen was utterly brilliant in the 2 games she bowled. 5:15 series. And she still has a long way to go in her career. But I'm sure this day will always.
Time again, you can earn a medal for your country. You have that opportunity to stand on that podium. It's truly emotional and truly special.
And Danielle is standing by with Dennis. And Dennis, whenever you guys are ready, give them a moment. We will be talking to our singles champion. Let's head down to the lanes. Dennis is standing by with Danielle.
I'm here with Danielle, this year's winner and gold medalist of the Women's Championships. You defeated Na Young Lee in the semifinals, and in the finals, you defeated your own teammate, Shannon O'Keefe, with a series of 5-15. Can you tell us, what does it feel to be like right here in this moment?
Oh, it's an amazing feeling. Have a gold medal, bringing home for Team USA is the best feeling ever. Our goal coming into today with my team was to bowl Shannon in the end so that we can guarantee us on the top of the podium, and we did just that, and then we had fun the last match, so I'm happy and proud to be bringing home a gold for Team USA.
Danielle, your resume speaks for itself. 2 majors, last year's winner in Thailand, and the World Bowling Tour. The list goes on and on. Can you tell us about your journey to help get you to where you are today?
Lots and lots of practice, hard work, determination, lots of blood, sweat, and tears, and just never giving up.
Blood, sweat, and tears, and I see tears right now in your eyes. Congratulations. And guys, Danielle McEwen.
All right, Dennis, thank you. Danielle, congratulations on a well-earned gold medal here at the World Bowling Women's Championships in singles. Now, we have more to come. We still have doubles and trios, so we will hand out more medals and also watch some more outstanding athletes on the World Bowling Women's Championship stage here at South Point Bowling Plaza.